Sometimes you're just trying to build business credit, right? And you have no cash or you have low cash. Sometimes you're struggling to get clients. Sometimes you're struggling to close your first sale. In the meantime, you got to have business credit because the supplier is not giving, if you don't have no supplies, you can't close a sale. You can't close a deal, right? So how do you actually reconcile these two elements? So in today's conversation, let's just talk about that. Let's talk about building business credit with no or low cash. So here are the steps I really want you to pay attention to. So if you are currently listening to me and you have an S corporation, you have a C corporation, you have an LLC, an LP, whatever it is, and you are fully constituted at the state level, you really want to make sure that you actually double check your paperwork here, because you need to establish your business as a separate entity. And we're not talking about just you just going to happy hours telling everybody that you have a business though. No, for real, boss, for real. We're talking about, do you have a business? A real business that is in compliance with what the state authorities are asking for. Because when we talk about businesses, the legal structure, everything happens at the state level, not the federal level. The IRS is not going to send you some paperwork to sort of say you are fully constituted. So if you are a C corporation, make sure that you have your articles of incorporation, that you have your certificate of good standing, you have filed your annual paperwork, you have filed your annual report, whatever. If you are an LP, same thing. If you're an LLC, same thing, okay? So establish your business as a separate entity, okay? Now, it's kind of hard to actually build business credit if you're a sole proprietorship. This is something that we actually have told our clients time and again. You cannot try to build business credit if you're a sole proprietorship. This whole definition, this whole notion of building business credit by being a sole proprietorship, is dichotomous. There is a conflict in there, okay? By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. We love having this kind of conversations every now and then. And what I want to say here is that when we talk about building business credit with no or low cash, number one, establish your business as a separate entity. Yes. Number two, you want to register for a Dun & Bradstreet DUNS number. I mean, I don't care what you think about DNB, but you got to have a DNB file. You got to have a DNB entry in their system, a DUNS number. Very important. The third thing I want you to do here is that, you got to get the number that has a lot of entrepreneurs all happy and all giddy up, the EIN. People think that when we talk about getting an EIN, that means the EIN is going to solve their problems. The EIN is just nothing but a number that allows the IRS to track your ass from a tax perspective. That's all. That's all. We see a lot of folks asking questions. Yeah, I try to apply for a business credit card or business loan with EIN only, and they were asking for my social security number. Yeah, boss, you don't know how to apply. That's the thing. Now, EIN is just a number, but there's a lot of there's a lot of other stuff that actually accompany that EIN. All right, but the EIN, just to kind of explain things to you real quick, you get it from the IRS. Nothing complicated. Okay. EIN stands for Employer Identification Number. You get it from the IRS, and just make sure that you actually file online. Do not file manually, because it takes forever. If you ever file like manually, it takes forever. Okay, boss. Let me quickly remind you of the topic. How do you build business credit with low cash flow or no cash flow? Number one, you want to establish your business as a separate legal entity. Number two, you want to register for a Dun & Bradstreet DUNS number. Number three, you want to get your EIN from the IRS. Number four, you need to actually start establishing a business banking relationship. Banks are going to be quintessential in your arsenal, in your funding arsenal. Whether you are a startup or you are an established business, you're going at some point to need funding, to need business funding. Because when we talk about business credit, of course, we're speaking about business funding. And banks, credit unions for that matter, will play an important role, which means that right now you need to open a bank account and make sure that there is we like to give this ancillary piece of advice. Make sure that you have a business address. I don't care if you work from home. I don't care if you work from your backyard. I don't care if you're working while taking care of the family next barbecue. That's kind of fine. But just make sure that your address, your official business address, is somewhere else. That maybe this could be taken care of by a virtual mailbox, or that you probably are getting your mail elsewhere. It's important to divorce your personal affairs from your business affairs. Okay, so that you can protect your family, you can protect your privacy, but you can, most importantly, you can actually have an official, okay, a prestigious address whereby you can receive business correspondence. Okay, so this is really important. The next thing I want you to do, boss, if you are trying to build a business credit with low cash flow or no cash flow for that matter, just make sure that you are making on-time payments. I don't care if you're having financial problems. Like you now, I can hear you ask me, how am I supposed to make on-time payments if I have low cash flow or no cash flow, right? I know you be trying to trick me. Listen, if you don't have cash flows, or if you have low cash flows, how come you haven't to make payments in the first place? So what I'm trying to say here is that if there is a delta, if there is a discrepancy, if you're trying to live beyond your means, that's when you start having problems. That's when you start having problems, because if you have low cash flow, normally, logically, you need to actually lower your monetary outflows. You need to lower your expenses. You need to live within your means. You need to live within your company's means. If you're generating 10,000 every month, make sure your expenses do not go over 7,000 or 8,000. Now, why not 10,000? Because you need to leave a little cushion so your CUR is not too high and your DTI is not too high. Okay, so when we talk about building business credit with low cash flow, we are speaking about making sure that you are lowering your expectations, your financial expectations, so that you can build credit even if you're making 1,000 cash flow every month. See, the whole thing is that when we talk about business credit, this ain't no spring. If anybody's just talking to you about this is a spring, things will happen overnight, they're just dazzling you. They're lying to your face. They're lying the hell out of you. They're trying to confuse you, maybe to drum up views on YouTube, or trying to get business from you, either way, they are just lying to you. Somebody telling you can build business credit in 30 days, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. 60 days, it ain't happening. 90 days, now we can start talking. 90 days, that's where the juice could be at, okay? So you can say, okay, you know what? Yeah, I think there is a possibility that I actually start building credit within 3 months. Minimum. Even 3 months, I'm being very nice, okay? Because it takes 6 months at least to see something solid, to see a solid increase in your paydesk score, to see a solid increase in your IntelliScore Plus, to see a solid increase in your Equifax commercial credit score. The next thing I want you to do here is that you need to actually think about asking vendors to actually communicate your info to Dun & Bradstreet and to Equifax and to Experian. Why? Because all the work that you're doing, all the hard work you're doing, if nobody knows about your hard work, then you ain't getting credit for it. And this defeats the whole purpose. The purpose here is to build business credit. Doesn't matter whether you have a fat cash account or you have a low cash account. It's all about consistency. It's all about routine. It's all about discipline. It's all about making sure that Dun & Bradstreet, that Equifax, that Experian, that SBNF, the Small Business Financial Exchange, that all those business credit reporting bureaus and databases know about how good you are when it comes to having a consistent payment history. Okay. By the way, boss, let me quickly remind you of today's conversation. We're talking about how to build business credit with low cash flow, with no cash flow. How do you do it? How do you actually remove the cash element from the whole transaction and make sure that you still build your credit? So when we talk about making on-time payments, first of all, you have to lower your expenses. Okay. But whoever you're dealing with, if you're dealing with one vendor, or 2 vendors or 3 vendors, it doesn't really matter. It can be one vendor or whatever. Just make sure that vendor is okay with reporting your data to the credit bureaus, okay? Because it's not about quantity, it's about quality. If you are making payments on time all the time and you've been doing this for 5 years, it's just a lot better than actually having a bunch of credit accounts where you are defaulting. Obviously, quantity may help you if you are on top of your expenses, that's for sure. But if you're not on top of your expenses, you want to have one or two where you are really good. It's all about being diligent. It's all about having the strategy in place to actually increase your payday score gradually over time. This is really important. And one thing I also want to say when it comes to asking vendors to supply your payment history to the credit bureaus is to make sure you have it in writing. Don't you just take one rep's word at it, like they actually give you a promise one Friday afternoon at a happy hour or over the phone Friday afternoon or Monday morning, whatever. No. Verbal agreements here do not work. You want to have something in writing. One thing I want you to do here, if you're trying to build business credit, let's say you have a very small amount of cash coming in every month. You really need to monitor your business credit score and credit scores and ratings. Okay. And here is why. The thing is that right now, it doesn't matter whether you have a low cash or no cash. If you are in business, you do have some expenses that are coming in every month. For example, if you are a legit business and you're not working from home, you probably are paying like a business rent. You're paying a monthly lease to a third party. The question is, this payment could actually go into your credit file. This could constitute one entry into your credit file. Same thing for your utilities. You're probably paying like electricity at work. You're probably paying for water, whatever it is. This could be another entry in your credit file. What I'm trying to say is you're currently making payments. You're probably paying your cell phone, okay, your business cell phone, of course. You're paying office supplies. All of those things should be entries in your credit score, in your credit file. Now, if they're not, that's why you want to monitor your business credit scores and ratings. You want to monitor your business credit reports, okay? Because if those entries are not making their way into your credit reports, then you know there is a problem. Then you need to contact Equifax, Dun & Bradstreet, and Experian to report the problems and hopefully fix it. One thing I want to say here is that you have to remember when we talk about business credit scores and ratings, they're not for free though. Don't think for a second that they'll just give you this credit score for free. No. You have to pay for it. But it's not really that much though. We're speaking about $40, $40, okay? $40, $50, and you're all set. You know what's going on in your credit score, in your credit report. You know if something is wrong, something is fishy. You can dispute things. You can actually make sure that you contact Dun & Bradstreet. The good thing is they have a business credit score department. They have a payday score department, and their customer service answers all questions you might have in relationship with your payday score, with your company's payday score. You can contact them via phone, or you can contact them via email. That's fine too, or even via snail mail. One thing I want you to really pay attention to as you're trying to build business credit is to really, and this goes back to what I said earlier, which is be patient. All right, you have to understand. You just came back you just came to the show. All right, you came to this party. Avail yourself of all the great things happening. Okay, enjoy the buffet. Really, don't you drink. This ain't no fast food. You just come in and just get out. No, take your time and enjoy the food. Enjoy the process. Talk to your vendors. Choose the vendors you want to work with. Apply for net 30 accounts, okay, and make sure the vendors are reporting to the credit bureaus so that your good work, your hard work is not actually it's not going to a waste, okay. And it takes about, as I said before, 6 months to see something solid. 3 to 6 months. That's the minimum. If you want to see an improvement in your payday score, in your Intelli Plus score, you really want to wait 3 to 6 months minimum. And again, it really pains our team that when we see people actually putting on a YouTube channel, like they put a title, increase your credit score in 30 days, business credit score in 30 days, it just makes us laugh. But there's nothing we can do. I'm just here to tell you that you're not going to increase your business credit score in 30 days. No, It ain't happening. It's not happening. Okay. Now, how fast? It depends on how fast you are too. It depends on how consistent you are. Okay. Are you making your payments diligently, consistently, every single month? Are you missing payments? Or are you actually increasing your relationship with your vendors? Are you improving your relationship with your vendor? Are you with your vendors? Are you finding vendors who report your data to the business credit bureaus? This is what's going to determine whether or not you make it. Okay, you actually make it as a business, and you build your business credit with low cash flow. And at some point, if you play your game right, it wouldn't matter anymore whether you have a low cash flow or no cash flow. Like your cash flow position wouldn't matter anymore, because you would have given enough assurance to all the lenders and all the vendors that you are able to handle whatever credit that you apply for. Before I close to this conversation, let me just say that when we talk about building business credit with low cash flow, you're not going to build personal credit with low cash flow on the business side. What I'm trying to say here is that a lot of banks and credit unions and credit card issuers overall, they will report your business data to your personal credit card, to your personal credit score and your business credit score. So right then and there, you have a situation where you are constantly you are under pressure to perform well. Okay, but it's really important to understand that both credit scores paint a picture of financial responsibility, which is what the lender cares about anyway. So that before they give you a business credit, the lender or the net 30 vendor, though the lender, it could be the lender, it could also be the net 30 vendor. So before they give you some cash, they know that you are actually have been vetted by others based on your credit history, and that you're able to handle whatever they give you. One thing I want to say here is that you got to think about the state element is important, because in some states it's a lot easier to build business credit than it is in others. Okay, and it depends also in your industry. So for instance, if you are in California, it's for all intents and purposes a lot easier to build business credit than if you are in Rhode Island. I know exactly what I'm saying. We have actually tested that hypothesis, and we have seen that it's just a lot easier to open a business and to actually build business credit in California, for example, versus Maryland, versus Rhode Island, versus even New York in certain aspects. So this was pretty interesting for us. So you got to think about the geography part. You also want to think about the sector you're in. Okay, are you in a sector that is that's seen a huge influx of cash, or are you in a sector that is struggling right now? So basically, even though you have low cash, you are still in a good sector, quote unquote good sector, or you have low cash and you just happen to be in a bad sector that's actually going through a lot of problems right now. So when we talk about sector analysis, we gotta pay a quick or a thorough mind when it comes to the sector that we are actually working in. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just talking to you about building business credit with low cash flow. How do you actually do it? Establish your business as a separate entity. You want to register for a DNB DUNS number. You want to get an EIN, open a bank account for your business. You want to make on-time payments. You want to ask vendors to supply your payment history. You want to monitor your business credit scores. And you also want to know how long it takes to build business credit. Thank you so much. I'll speak to you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.